Welcome to the highly anticipated third season of the Single Dads Unplugged, where we embark on the profound exploration of the unique challenges and triumphs faced by single fathers. This season, we delve deep into the realm of emotional resilience, unraveling the layers of strength that single dads exhibit as they navigate the complexities of parenthood on their own, from coping with the emotional rollercoaster of solo parenting to finding solace in unexpected places. Our episodes aim to inspire and empower single fathers on their journey. In Season 3, our focus extends beyond the individual, shining a spotlight on the invaluable bonds forged between single dads and their children. We bring you heartfelt stories of connection and growth, showcasing the remarkable ways in which these fathers nurture and strengthen the familial ties that define their lives. Moreover, we address the crucial intersection of financial and emotional well-being, offering practical insights and advice to help single dads not only survive, but thrive in their role as primary caregivers. As we navigate the intricate landscape of co-parenting challenges, our aim is to provide a supportive space for single fathers to share experiences and glean wisdom, fostering a sense of community and resilience in the face of adversity.
Welcome to Season 3 of Single Dads Unplugged. We are all about helping dads or encouraging dads to be better fathers to their kids. And we are building bonds between them and their kids, also making sure that we destroy and break stereotypes. With me again this afternoon, I've got Mbongeni Mhlanga. Good afternoon and welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me back on your show.
No problem. You were part of Season 1 and briefly Season 2, although you had to rush with your daughter. It was nice to see your daughter. You've been with us from the beginning in terms of doing the community work in this network. How has it been so far? Engaging with other single dads, meeting new people socially and expanding your network. How has that been for you?
It's been a great journey, I must say. Meeting the other single dads, it kind of gives you also an encouragement that you're not alone in this. Yeah. And also, they point your cup and you point to others. For example, yes. Just recently I had a colleague of mine that is going through a divorce, and I was able to direct him to this platform and tell him, because he was going through a lot of mental breakdown, just not in a good state. Then I told him, no, he actually saw that I was part of it, but he wasn't sure. Yeah, so he asked me what is happening, and he opened up to me. That's so great. Because of being part of this platform and knowing about it, I was able to actually direct him. Maybe one day we might interview him.
He should reach out.
Yes, because he's got 3 kids, and obviously he's going to be a single dad soon. So I told him that, encouraged him, spoke to him, gave him the strength, and I was able to say that legal-wise, there's people you can turn to. There's a platform.
Well, we've got a big platform.
Yes.
We've got a panel of advisors and professionals to help. Yeah. How has your relationship developed and grown over the past couple of months now, having been as part of our network?
My relationship with my daughter, you mean?
Yes.
I stay with her full time. So sure. I think the platform reached me at a point that I was in a good space, and I was able to actually give out my story and encourage other people. But we've always been close, because I've been there since day one, and now I've been staying with her now. She's 7 now. I've been staying with her since she was 5.
When she was 5.
Yes.
So how has that been like? Because you've got a busy, hectic professional schedule. How is it like balancing being a full-time dad and a professional at the same time? Must be hectic.
Yes, it is hectic, but there's always a way to work around it. So as long as you make time, particularly she's going to school, and the times that you're busy is the time when she's at school. So that already cancels itself. Helps. Yes, that helps. And then you try and free up, like for example, my Sundays is taking her to church and spending the day with her. Yes, I see that
all the time.
Yeah. So you make time out of the 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you ensure that her mother is still in her life, although she doesn't live with your guys, and also trying to harmonize parenting styles when she visits there, and obviously she does visit her mom, correct?
Yes. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Definitely
and does she communicate
on
with
weekends.
her often?
Yes. I make sure of that on the phone call. So I don't think she ever feels like she just has one parent, because the mother is always
Is present in her.
as well. She speaks, she's supportive, and I think that's the thing that actually helps when it comes to co-parenting, when the two of you as the parents
Yeah.
get to a level of maturity. Especially, I know in the beginning, I've seen with other people that are trying to co-parent, there's a lot of fighting. So that co-parenting will never be healthy as long as there's still grudges.
It's never been perfect.
Yes, it will never be perfect as long as there's still grudges.
In
being
my
held.
life, as an old single dad, it's still challenges.
Yes.
It's tough, even when the kids are big.
Yes. So at that point, like I said in season 1, is that you need to get to a point of forgiveness. So if there is that pain and anger that you are holding, you need to let go of it, because that leads to resentment.
Yeah.
And that's what I've realized with most parents, especially fathers, that end up being completely absent in their kids' life, is because of that anger that they keep on holding. Eventually they resent the mother, and then they resent the kids, because the kids will always remind them of the mother.
Will always remind them of the
Yes.
mother.
But you need to get to a point of forgiveness and letting go. And once you let go, you'll actually realize that you open up better things for yourself and good things.
Other than, I was just wondering, other than church, what other activities do you get engaged in, just to make sure that you guys bond and get to know one another better?
Sports.
With
So I'll take. She's quite popular at school.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of friends.
She's
there.
got big energy.
Yes, she's got a lot of energy.
She's got amazing energy.
Yes, and she's quite involved in a lot of activities at school. Like it's sports, your swimming, your
Swimming. Okay.
Yeah, she also does
So
swimming.
you take her to all those. Is it like on weekends or during weekdays?
On weekends. Sometimes weekdays I need to be there. She does music. She's in the choir. She does also public speaking. So I make sure that I never miss any of those events.
Yeah.
And then her friends. I plan play dates with the mothers, because there's also a lot of single mothers there. So they always find it very intriguing or weird seeing this single father, like he's always alone. Where is the mother? No, they want to ask, but they're scared to ask. So the only opportunity they'll get is the ones that are close to the kids. When we plan the play dates, then that's the time when they get to conversate, and they're actually like, wow, there's actually fathers that are doing this. We were saying that
in the previous conversation, that more and more fathers are now getting involved in the kids' activities, especially school activities, which I think is encouraging, because most fathers would say, oh, the child lives with the mom, so take her to school, and whether it's swimming. But it's encouraging to see fathers. So it's not taboo anymore to see a father walking with a child after school or picking them from school. And but how is that helping you bond with her, or even create that kind of comfort, especially at this tender age?
Yeah, so that actually helps a lot, because at that moment I get to hear how her day was. So she'll talk and talk. So sometimes you're tired, but you just have to listen. She'll tell me about the day, what happened, what the teachers did,
because you want that information.
Yes.
Because we were talking about bullying. We had a psychologist on our show 2 days ago, and when she was saying, if there's an absent father in a child, they'll be scared to tell the mother about bullying, and they'll tell no one. And they'll bulk to that thing, that hate, that anger. Eventually it will explode one day, and you don't want that happening to your child. So it's a good thing. So when she vents and speaks endlessly, embrace that, because then you're gonna know everything about what went down at school.
Yeah, and if there's things I need to address, you address them as they arise.
Do you allow her time to have video calls with the mom on a regular basis, and also do the same with her mom and tell about school activities, church?
Yes, absolutely. I encourage that every morning before she goes to school. I'll give her the phone to call the mom.
With that?
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. And like I say, that she doesn't really feel that the mother is there.
There's an
Yes,
absent parent.
because she's got access to both of us at
Today
any
we've
time.
got technology.
Yes.
It's
no longer like
we
before.
can Skype, we can Teams, we can even do all kinds of calls on the network today, which is very great.
So that can only happen if the parents have a good co-parenting relationship.
Yeah, if you don't
That's why I
block one
said yes.
another.
That between the two, because in the beginning there'll be a lot of fights. So, but one of you, and I would always.
How did you overcome that? Because you and I used to talk about this.
I had to become the
How
leader.
How did you change that?
You need to become the leader and everything. So you look at everything and then you ask yourself.
Because you used to fight a lot.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
So when you say you had to become a leader, what did you change? What did you do differently?
So you change your approach and you realize,
Approach, yeah.
in the sense like you look at certain things. Is this worth arguing over?
Or maybe is it about us really?
Sometimes
whatever
no,
you're arguing about, or
so
is it about the child?
It was about the child. So, like I said, I'm very particular when it comes to the child, especially.
So very strict.
Yes, I'm very strict in terms
Yeah.
of the school particulars and homework. So we used to fight a lot when she was staying with the child because from the environment I grew up in, being raised by two teachers, my dad was a principal and my mom being a teacher, I know the importance and the value of education.
Was it easy? Was it easy for her to give up the child to you? I deliberately use the word give up
Yes.
because sometimes there's a sense of loss when the mother, especially at the age of 5,
Yes.
allowing the child, a 5-year-old girl, to live with the father. I'm sure there must be a sense of loss or almost feeling like I'm relinquishing my parental right to the father. How was that transition for her, you think?
So what actually happened is she wanted to take our daughter to her mother.
Or to her, or
Yes,
to the
which was
grandma.
which was in the Free State, and I
Then you
refused. I
didn't
said
like
no,
that.
I didn't like that because now
She's going to be
my
raised by a granny.
Yes, and my question was now how do I get access to her? Now she's further away,
Actually
meaning
far.
very far. I don't know what
Yeah.
is happening there.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't like the environment that she was going to be in.
So you had
I
to
had
discuss
fight.
it. You had to discuss
No,
it.
I had to fight.
Well, you had to
I
fight.
tried to discuss it, but I was
It
like,
didn't
no,
work.
it's not going to happen.
So you had to
Because
push.
I said I was not raised by my grandparents.
I want to raise my own
I
child.
want to raise my own child. And when my father raised me, he raised me to take care of my own
I want to
responsibilities.
be responsible.
And I remember her mother was sick at that time. And
Yeah.
I was like, why do you want to put burden on an old?
When there's two of us alive
Yes.
and we are capable,
Yes.
we are equally capable of raising her.
Exactly. So
what did she
at
say?
No, it was back and forth. She wasn't really telling the truth why she was moving.
Oh,
the
she
kids
was not
away.
telling. Or there was another reason.
There was another reason that I later on found out. So thank God I
I'm hearing
fought.
this a lot.
I fought for the child that she
Yeah.
ended up because now obviously I think she had a lot of pressure because now this reason of what she wanted to work on, and I was being resilient and I was not letting it go. And then she ended up saying, "Okay, it's
So
fine." you
what
can
was
take
the
your
reason?
time."
Are you willing to share it?
Yeah, I can share. It's not a secret. She had actually she was now dating another person, and they were planning to move in together.
To move in together. So she
Yes.
didn't want your child to be part of that.
Obviously,
Cohabitation.
that's what they do because
Just
it
gonna be
becomes
complicated.
it's obviously for selfish reasons.
Okay.
Because how do you put someone that is not your blood above your own
Yeah,
blood?
above your
So
own,
on
yeah.
my side, I could have chose to do the same, but
So
I
that
said
was
no.
the reason she wanted to send the child to the grave.
Yes, that was the reason I found out later.
But
on.
later.
Yes, I was like, oh, okay, so now it makes sense. I suspected it, but I didn't
But
have
you didn't
evidence.
know what was going on.
Yes, then when I got
okay.
the concrete evidence, then I was like, aha,
That was the reason.
I did say that.
But how does it feel now? 3 years later, almost 2 years later, you've been living with Nkanyezi now for 2 years. How's the mom about the is she comfortable with the situation right now? Is she still wanting
I think
to fight it?
no. She's never tried to fight it because sadly, actually maybe it was a blessing in disguise
Okay.
on my side because at that time sadly a year later, her mom passed away.
Oh, you
And
did
now,
say she was sick.
yes, because now she wanted to take the child
Oh,
there.
she's
Now you can
gonna
imagine
take the
if I'd
car.
allowed the child to
Imagine.
go there, the whole admin now wanted to take the child
transition.
back, the transition,
Yeah.
it was just going to be
Yeah.
chaotic. So I think me being a believer.
It's a good thing that you actually insisted
yes.
that the child comes to you
Yes.
because now you could be in a very different situation now.
Exactly.
So the communication between now, not the child and her mom, but you and her, and it's very, very, it's very, very structured, and you don't
Yes.
feel there's an issue, and
No, it's
and
not.
you've got a very nice relationship. When she needs something or when she needs to spend time with her,
Yes.
and she's got full access. Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
So that's
definitely.
very
So conversations will always be structured around the child, it's always best that
A
way
lot
you
of
don't.
That's nice. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. A lot of fathers are scared to raise a girl child at this age. Maybe it's just stereotypes, or maybe just some assumptions they make. What kind of advice you would give them if you have to dispel any stereotypical notion around raising a girl child, just to put them at ease? Let's say they're listening and they're watching this conversation. What did you tell them? You seem to be doing it just okay.
Yes.
My girl kids are big now,
Yeah.
so I have my own story. But what did you tell them? How are you making it work for you?
So prior to making the decision that I was going to take
Yes.
my daughter to stay with me, I consulted a lot of people,
Okay.
including yourself. I had
Of course,
a lot
I
of
spoke to
conversations
them.
with you.
Yes,
And if you can remember, there was a gentleman called Ntokozo that was
I remember,
was
yeah.
raising his daughter. So
His daughter.
I had an appointment and I sat down with him
Oh,
because
you also went to those?
yes, I sat down with him at one of the coffee shops and we had a lengthy discussion because he also took his daughter when she was 5. So I'd never gotten the
So
full
you had to
story.
ask, yeah.
Yes, I think maybe that is one of the people you should actually invite to this show. He's got very insightful. So
will
he
invite.
took me through his whole journey. Obviously, the disappointments to him leading to taking the child. And
Yeah.
he said to me, I remember the first thing he said that, Mbongeni, if you're thinking of doing this, you need to be very prayerful and you need to be in the right state of mind emotionally.
Your
Because-
emotional state of mind.
Yes, because you're
Yes.
going to be playing mom, dad, switching.
It's going to be difficult.
Yes, but he says once you get the hang of it, you're actually going to enjoy
You
it.
get
Because
into the
now
rhythm,
her
yeah.
daughter is in high school now,
Ah,
and he's
okay.
now married now. And the
And
daughter
it's
now
gone past
is
that
yeah,
tender period.
from 5 years old to her being in high
that's
school.
many
Next year, I
years.
think she's going. The year after next, she's going into
University.
yes.
That's amazing. And he's doing this on his own.
Yeah, but then now over the past 2 years, he's now married. So now obviously there's now
of course,
someone
there's
assisting.
a
Yes.
stepmom. Yeah.
And then another important thing that he told me about this other book. I just forgot the title. And he said that, there's a book that he read that was written by a doctor psychologist.
Sure.
And that doctor was actually putting out pointers that kids that were actually raised by their dads turned out far much better than
Far
those
much better.
raised by
I've
their
got
moms.
the stats myself.
Exactly.
I know
So
that. I've
that
got
kind
that
of
stats.
encouraged me. I was like, wow.
That's encouraging. Yeah.
With me was I always go out and look for knowledge and learn from people that have done it
It's a good
before
thing.
me.
And
So
then
then
it's
yeah.
not about copying other people, but it's also learning from their
From
experience,
them,
because there's
yeah.
no one dad that's going to raise their child the same as another dad.
Exactly.
But just through storytelling and hearing how they've endured and managed to maneuver through their lives does help us to learn from that as well.
Yes.
How has living with Nkanyezi impacted or affected your own relationships with other people? Does it?
has actually
Let's
enriched it,
say you have a new girlfriend. They meet Nkanyezi. Do you find that it's creating problems for the child, or is it the other way around?
So I've set those boundaries very
There are
clear.
boundaries. Okay.
I'm not going to introduce any woman to my child unless I'm pretty sure that I'm marrying this person.
They're going to be with you
Because I was
forever.
avoiding that today I introduced this
Of
one,
course.
tomorrow I introduced that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when they grow up, kids imitate the things that we do.
They're going to start copying.
Copying the
Mm.
things that was, oh no, you brought this one and brought that one.
So
that
that's
was the
love.
thing. I was
Mm.
like, I'm only going to do this when I'm ready
When
to
you're
do it.
certain this is
And
my
then,
person.
yes, and then I'm certain that no, this is where we're going, and then have a conversation with her. And I think maybe that time she'll be grown up and she'll
Sure.
understand this. But
Amazing.
again, I'll always consult. Maybe I'll go back to Ntokozo and say,
and check again.
you got married.
How
How
did
did
you
you?
ma- how did
And
you
I've
do
already
it?
spoken to some. I mean, I've got cousin brothers that
Yeah.
where my recent cousin brother that got married 3 years ago.
Mm.
He had a son. The lady that he was getting married to, his wife
Mm.
now, had a daughter.
Mm.
And they've managed to blend the families. When you go into that home, you'll actually
It's a
not
blended
pick
family,
it
but
up.
it's seamless. You
Yes.
can't tell.
You won't tell unless he
Yeah.
mentions it, and you'll be like shocked. I was like,
You
okay,
think it's just family.
yes, all their kids. Yes.
Mm.
So it's learning from people from those, and he was also one of the people that
And
I
if they
spoke
can
to
get
a
it
lot.
right, you can get it right.
Exactly.
One day when you
Yes.
get married,
But
yeah.
maybe could do it better because
Do it
from
better.
them they'll tell you avoid doing this because they've
Ah,
walked the
okay.
journey. They know what worked and what didn't work.
So you can't
So
repeat
they'll
the
be
same
able to tell
mistakes.
you, yes,
Yeah.
that
I
don't
always
do
say
this.
sometimes you learn you learn from your own mistakes, but also you learn from other people's mistakes,
Yes.
and that you don't repeat those crazy things. We're going to close soon, Mbongeni, but the other thing that I was wanting to touch on is around visitation rights and drawing up co-parenting plans. We had a psychologist on our show 2 days ago say sometimes, even if you don't have disagreements, it always helps to draw up a parenting plan around schooling, which city you're going to raise your child, what kind of sports you're going to pay for, what kind of trips overseas you want your child to be exposed to, those kinds of things. Is your parenting plan casual, or is it documented somewhere? Did you get someone to help you draw it up, or how does it look like?
I don't have a parenting plan, to be quite honest.
It's
I
just
looked at that
informal.
document,
Have you looked at it?
and yes, I looked at it years back when I was making that, and I felt like, this sounds too serious and too scary. And
It's
I was
too
like,
formal.
yes, I'm like, it's too formal, it's too scary. It's just something out of the norm. I'm not used to this. I'm just going to look at how I was raised, the good things, and take that and say, this is what. So luckily, with the mom, we were going to the same church, so the Christian values were kind of like aligned.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it
So
was
not,
it was just personal values there and there that were not aligned, that started causing that
but
clash.
because of Christian faith, you
Yes.
found that you align on
Yes,
many
so with
on
the
many
church,
levels.
it was not an issue.
Yeah.
Because she still goes to the same church, but in a branch in another city where she resides. And then when it comes to schooling, I think she trusted me with that because she knew how much passionate I am about education, and she knew that I would not just pick any school without doing my research. So she kind of knows the type of person that I am, that I would never jump into something unless I've done thorough research and I've got all the pros and cons about it.
You consider
So
all angles.
when it came to those decisions, she would never
you
question me
bring me-
around it.
You bring me to this topic around financial decisions.
Mm.
How do you guys navigate that? You know, one single dad was saying to our show that, sometimes I just get bills that I know nothing about, and it upsets me because the mother would just decide without consultation. How do the two of you're the mother, make those financial decisions?
So
Is there a structure of some kind?
Yes, we kind of shared responsibilities. Of course, I've got the larger portion of the responsibilities. Then
Of
she's
course.
got certain things
Oh, yeah, because
that
she
she's
lives
taking
with
care
you.
of. Yes.
I imagine.
Which are not an issue. So she would never go and incur bill, for example,
Without talking to you.
without talking to me, because she knows
It's not gonna go nice.
Yeah, it's not gonna go nice. So she will
Yeah.
communicate things like that with me because she knows that I'm a person that loves
And you've
communication.
discussed it, yeah.
Yes, and we've discussed it. So if you're going to come up with something with me that
But
you
you
did
do
not
vice
discuss-
versa. If you're going to
Yes.
spend on her, or you want something to be spent on her,
I tell her-
would you tell
yes,
her or
I tell her in
consult,
advance.
even if it's not her money, but it's
Yeah.
just information?
No, if I'm spending my own money
Of course.
and I really feel like there's
It's necessary.
nothing, yes, it's not going to impact her in
And
any
then
way,
it's
I just
okay.
do it
Yeah.
on my side. But if it's going to impact
But
her,
if it's going to impact her,
yes,
her as
maybe
well.
if it's one of her responsibilities at school,
Mm.
maybe if the extramural activity that she chooses to pay for, if that price
That's
changes
very nice.
or something changes around that, or she decides that she's going to do something else, I need to tell her
Of course.
that I'm going to
So
afford it.
communication tradition
Yes.
is working.
Yes.
It seems to be seamless.
Yes. For example, it's her responsibility to take Nkanyezi to do her hair.
Or for,
yeah,
or for her to
For
the
her hair,
salon.
yes. But
Oh, okay.
sometimes I do it and pay for it.
Oh,
And I
okay.
wouldn't claim
You
it
don't
back from
claim
her.
it from
Kind of thing. She
It's a bit
can,
crazy,
yes, the salon that she'd use outside, maybe it's a certain hairstyle, then sometimes maybe Nkanyezi says, no, I want to do this. And as a dad, you cannot say
So
no.
that you're
Then you say,
comfortable
okay,
with
no,
it.
it's fine, do it. And then she'll maybe send the balance or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I would go back there and fight over because it's a financial decision I did on my own.
Yeah.
But if I feel like maybe she needs to cover that cost and she wants it, I'll ask and say, this is what she wants. Are you okay with it?
Makes sense.
Or then we discuss it and maybe she'll say, okay, I'll contribute so much. Then I'll say, okay, it's fine. I'll
Then
just
it's an
do
easy discussion.
the rest, yes.
Yeah.
Especially, particularly if
That's
it's a responsibility that is directly hers. But if it's
Ah.
mine, I make the decisions
It's not
whichever
an
way.
issue.
Yes.
Do you ever feel vulnerable in front of your child, or maybe, and feel like you have to apologize for something? And before you answer, one Sunday dad was saying, I used to yell at my kids. I used to shout, and he sat in that same chair and said, it just occurred to me one day, but I can talk to my kids without shouting, and maybe that will change something. Sometimes as parents, we never apologize for doing things like that because we think we're always right. How about you?
Yeah, so previously I was that cutthroat. I think also my personality, the role that I hold in the organization I work
At
for,
work, yeah.
yes, at work, and then you bring that
At
home.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
But then I went on a journey of being a transitional leader, and I understood that
Sure.
You can still get things done by talking to people
Just by
nicely.
talking like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also being involved in the church as well. You know, you
Did
also
it help
listen
you?
to your pastor and got kids and says, this is how I used to parent before. And then sometimes you tell a story that resonates directly with you. And then that's when
Then
now
it
I
begins
started
to make
changing.
sense.
Yes, because yes, sometimes I would yell, why do things? And then after some time now, I'll look at some things, still part of the values, reprimand, but I reprimand and also give reason and say you can't do this because of one, two,
But
three.
explain
And
why.
explain why. So
Yeah.
most of the time you reprimand, but you do not explain. You can say,
Yeah.
do not touch that because you get
That's
banned
that's the
without giving
consequence.
yes, without
Yeah.
giving yes the consequence.
Yeah.
So when it comes to school, when I sit down even with a report, I say, you said you want to be a doctor, and yes, your maths marks are good, 60%, 65%,
Yeah.
not bad, but you need to increase this
No,
to
you need to push it up
to
a little bit.
75%, 80%, because
Slowly but surely.
doctors, you are dealing with. So I make you understand. You say, doctor, you're dealing with
Ah.
someone's life, and if you make something wrong, that person will die in
There's
your
no
hands.
mistakes there.
Yes. So it's those type of now
Talking about,
conversations I have with the.
Talking about church, Mbongeni, your spiritual journey is quite an impressive story. What about your child? I mean, I think without fail, she's always at church with you on Sundays. How have you observed her spiritual journey so far?
You know, kids will always look up to us, and I always give an example of myself. I would always mimic what my dad was doing. And that's why I would always advise my other fathers that don't get it right, because they do call me and ask me, how do you get it right?
How
I
did you
single
get it
dad,
right?
I'm married, but I can't even get it right. Then I say, do not you tell your child what to do. First do it, and they will see you doing it,
Yeah.
and then they'll start doing
They'll
it.
probably copy.
Yes. So you're not going to tell your child, stop watching TV and read your books. Yet
Yeah.
you're always sitting in front of the TV and they've never seen you carrying a book.
Exactly. You do it yourself first.
Yes. So then I say to him, at my place, I sometimes forget about the TV because I hardly ever watch it. And I'm always on my books. Guess what my daughter does now? She does exactly that.
She's copying
she,
that.
She will copy me and say that, no, I also want to study. When she sees me studying, she says, like, I also want to study.
That's
She will
great.
want to sit next to her
It's
desk
wonderful.
and start doing that on her own. She never comes home and cries and says, please switch on the TV for me
Yeah.
and all that. Hardly ever. You see
And
that
you're
she's
creating
on
a tradition
a tradition.
that's
yes.
going to help her. And
Yes.
it's a rhythm that it's going to be hard for her to unwind because
Yes.
she's just going to get used to it.
So coming to church, because that has always been the journey from day one.
Mhm.
Now she wakes up in the morning and she will tell me and say, we need to go to church.
Wow, I should remind you.
Yes, she will wake up earlier than me and say,
Earlier
you need
than
to
you.
get up
That's
because
nice.
remember, we need to go to church because there's
She
a
knows
kids'
when
church.
it's Sunday
Yes.
because there's also a kids' church.
Yes, there's a kids' church. She knows that I
Yeah.
serve at church. She knows that when I'm at church, Daddy gets busy there, so she has to wait for me a little bit longer. When I come and pick her up, there'll be maybe
Yeah.
3 or 4 kids left
Yeah.
there, and she now understands that. So, growing up in that church now, getting to understand, I know that one day when she's now in primary high school, she's most probably going to serve at church because she's seeing me doing it.
She says, do you guys do homework together sometimes?
Yes, without fail. So if I'm not there for her homework, the nanny would help her with her homework, but
Yeah.
I make sure that I sign
You
it off
make
because there's a
sure.
part where it says the
parent
parent needs
must
to
sign
sign.
off, yeah.
Yes. So I'll
to check
look
that,
at it
to
and
show
make
that
sure.
you've looked at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about nanny, so there was a lady that told me that her child's homework is always done by a nanny, and she's got full-time tutor at home, and nanny will sign off. I just think that I said to her, as long as you've got enough other activities to help you bond with your child, because we don't bond by watching TV or by working together. Sometimes there's just activities, whether it's homework or whether it's playing a game that help you. Other than church, swimming, reading a book, what else do you do to bond with your child?
Yeah, we do a lot of
Maybe
activities. We
outdoor,
sometimes cycle.
cycling, outdoor.
outside,
Oh, I've
outside.
seen pictures
Yes, yes.
on your page. Yeah.
Cycling
She's got like
with
a small
She's also
little
got a
tricycle.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Now it's actually my young brother bought him now. Bought her now a mountain bike.
A mountain bike.
Yeah,
That's
so now
nice.
she loves cycling. You find
So
her
she
cycling
loves
all the
that, yeah.
time.
Mhm.
And then we do a lot of activities.
And you've got
Eating-
dates. I've seen you eating out a
Out,
lot with her.
Yeah, so I take her on dates.
And you make sure there's no one else. It's just the
yes,
two of
just
you.
the two of us. So she'll tell me, teach her how to, she'll try out different things, teach her how to eat with a fork and knife and things like
Yeah.
that. And you, to be just be.
She's
so
learning a
surprised.
lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just.
Your
trying to
story is just so amazing.
think.
Yeah.
Sports. Sometimes play tennis with her.
Yeah.
She also loves hockey, so I
Yeah.
would take her to one of the hockey stadiums in our neighborhood there, and she'll meet with other kids.
She
So
met
she'll
with
be
other kids. Yeah.
Playing, yeah. So we do also a lot of play dates where we're there as the parents.
Hmm.
We play
From
them.
from your side of the family, does she have other mother figures other than her biological mom?
Yes,
Tell us
aunts.
about that.
Yeah, so there's her aunts.
Aunts, yeah.
Yeah, there's her aunts.
And how's that relationship?
No, it's great. It's great
Mm.
because in our family, we do a lot of family gatherings.
And she will be present.
Particularly, yes, she'll be
Mm.
present, particularly on weekends. So even sometimes it becomes an issue when I tell her, no, this weekend, she'll know that there's something coming up the weekend. And I say,
Okay.
this weekend you're going to your mom, and it will become a fight now.
It will
It's
become
become a fight that now she needs to go to
Oh,
the
because she has
mother
to
because
choose.
yes, so
Oh,
sometimes
okay. It's
she'll
conflicting.
come back already with plans and says, okay, Didi, me and Kia, her best friend is Kia from
Kia,
school.
mhm.
We have we've got a plan. We've decided. Now
Plan.
she's telling me that we have a plan. That this
Okay.
weekend we are going to such and such a place. We already
Ah.
spoke to Kia's mom and say that you
Yes.
can meet us. And I'm like, no, but you're
Yes.
going to your mother this weekend. So I said,
To
no,
your
no, no,
mother.
I'll go that other weekend. Then I was like, no, you need to go to your
You
mother.
need to go, yeah.
And I will enforce it because now I don't want the situation where
Because you
I'm
want
seen as
that
the one-
relationship to build.
Yeah.
It's like you're stifling or you're stopping her from seeing.
Exactly. That,
Seeing her aunt.
sometimes they will say you are the one who's influencing her not to go there.
Mm.
So I'll try and enforce no else, and they'll say sometimes I don't win, and I'll say okay, I'll call the mother. I think this is the situation.
Yeah.
She won't budge.
She's not
And
gonna
then
budge.
then the mother
Yeah.
will say okay, no, it's fine. I'll fetch maybe that other weekend because sometimes she works weekends.
Yeah.
So sometimes kind of feel bad and say, Ish, you need to go. But school holidays, again, before it was not an issue. Now it's starting to become a problem because now she's got plans for over the holidays. Because now
She's
she
got her
grows
own plans.
older and
Yeah.
she's always around her cousins. She doesn't have siblings
And
yet.
it's changing now.
Yes, it's changing
Yeah.
because now, and they'll call each other their cousins and they'll say, no, you're gonna come over
Yeah.
this holiday to us. I was like, no, but you need to go to your
Yeah.
mom. So
No, I understand.
it's those kind of things, yeah.
Thanks, Mbongeni. Before we close, we've been talking on this show now a lot about fatherlessness and the impact of being an absent father. And we've had so many suggestions, both from single parents themselves and experts and psychologists. The last thing I want to ask you is, how would you advise single dads out there that are about to give up because of whatever reason? You know, mom, blocking access. We always say as fathers, it's never late to be a present father in a child's life. You don't want to die being an absent father, and you don't want her to die having not experienced a present father. What advice would you give them, especially those that are almost saying, listen, I'm just gonna just keep sending money, providing, but I've given up. What courage or encouragement would you give them?
Definitely never to give up. There is always a way. And again, like I said, I always tell people, and I'm talking from experience, there's a saying that says when two bulls fight or two elephants
The
fight,
grass suffers.
it's not the bulls that suffer, it's the grass.
Yes.
So people need to think of all those things before they engage. And if there's fighting taking place, it takes one person to be the leader
yeah.
and say, I'm not going to indulge in this. I'm not
Yes.
going to succumb to
And
this.
change the narrative.
Because again, with the type of person you are and the values that you portray. And talking about that, why they shouldn't give up, I have a lady friend of mine. I was having a conversation with her because I sent her season 1's recording and she watched it.
Our season 1.
And she was like, wow, this is so insightful. And maybe one day I would love to also come and tell my story
Sure.
as a single mom,
She should
how having a single father affected me,
come.
affected her dating life, and now how it led her to being a single mother of 2 kids. Because
Of 2 kids.
yes, so that's what men need to actually realize, that sometimes they'll think, no, the mother is more important than the father. They are both equally important.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
That's what
sending
we need
money,
to emphasize.
and then you're sitting wherever you are.
It's not
That
enough.
is not enough, because this person wants to have an emotional relationship with you,
Wow.
not that my dad, yes, is took
So
me
you're
to school.
saying to the single dads out there, understand that you are equally responsible for raising that child,
Yes.
whether you are supporting them financially or not,
or not,
or
yes.
whether you live with them or not.
Yes,
You are equally responsible.
sensible.
Yeah.
I've also seen some fathers that stay away because they can't afford.
Yeah, so
That
they
is
think
what-
just because I
yes.
can't pay, I need to step aside.
Step aside, no.
It's
You
crazy.
need just your presence is what
They
is
need your
important. It's not
presence.
about money.
Because
Or,
the relationship can form without
Yes.
even paying anything.
yes,
Relationships can build.
yes. And situations change. You can be unemployed today, tomorrow. You're
Yeah, you
employed.
don't want to say, oh, now I have a job, now I'm going to start forming a relationship.
Yes.
It can be very, very
yeah,
late.
Then again, if you don't have a job, then the relationship falls
The
away.
relationship falls away. It doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, that would be my advice from my side.
And keep trying. I was saying in season 2, before we end the conversation, Mbongeni, if you're having difficulty to have access to the child through the mother, and if the child is old enough to have a conversation with you and pick up a phone and talk, go straight there.
Yes.
When they've got a cellular number or they can be reached through a cellular phone, find a way to reach them directly. Don't rely. Just because your mother is angry with you as a father and she doesn't want to pass the phone to the child, if they have a phone, just call them directly and start building that relationship directly with the child and not through the mom. You agree with that?
So also, yeah, I agree with that, but also that becomes challenging. I'll give you an example with my colleague friend that is recently getting divorced.
Divorce.
Everything was blocked, all access
Even to the child.
to the
So
kids.
they block
So
the
obviously there is something very big
Yeah,
there,
that's
and this
the-
person is still
crazy.
angry, and
So he
they
doesn't have
are
access
fighting.
even to the child,
No, to the kids.
to the kids.
Kids, yes.
Yeah, then he must go a legal
Yes.
route.
Yeah, that's what I told him. That's when they ended up calling me, and I was advising. I said, no, don't fight them now face to
don't
face.
fight them.
Fight them through the legal
Go the
route.
legal route.
Yes.
Once the court order is given, they will have to comply.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
yes.
sometimes you have
Yeah.
to resort to them.
Yeah, so that's why parents need to be mature enough. If you want the access to be through you as a parent, then make sure that then there's those appointments that take place. I myself don't encourage my daughter at this age to be having,
Yeah.
yes, she has a cell phone, she uses it under my supervision.
Yeah, no. At that age, she
Yes.
needs supervision.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I also don't encourage her being on the phone, being able to call whoever they want or receiving calls in my absence.
You must be there.
Yes, I must be there. So I also supervise that because I also want her to grow up to be a responsible
A responsible
person and not just that I can have access
Yeah,
to anything
and
that I
also
want.
cell phones can teach kids all kinds of things.
All kinds of things. That's the other
even,
thing.
Even
Yes.
not good stuff, especially
Yes.
at that age.
At that age, yes. So with a phone, I lock it away. So during school, she has access to a laptop anytime. And obviously the laptop, it's content that is
Now you're
approved by
14,
the school,
approved.
and she
So
can
on the
watch
certain
whatever it
apps,
is,
yeah.
yes. And the apps also have got restrictions and all that, so that is not a problem. So I replaced the cell phone with the laptop. Then when I'm around,
Great.
then I can give her a phone to play
Great.
games and etc. But she knows that there is phone time, and then there's a time where the phone needs to be put away,
Great.
not to access right through. So
That's
all
great.
those measures have been put in place, and obviously this comes also from the advice of the teachers, because they will tell us that this with the kids at this age, this is what we
Makes
advise
sense,
you to
yeah.
do. I have a very good relationship with teachers at school.
The teachers,
Yeah, and they were actually even shocked at one point that you actually stay with her alone. You know, like
Full
we've never
time.
had issues. It
Yeah,
was
because
only at
remember,
one
it's a
time.
societal condition.
Yes,
It's a bit
yes.
taboo for a dad
Yes.
to, especially with a small child
Yeah.
like Kanyezi. Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend, you're doing a great job with Kanyezi, and we're learning a lot from your story. Continue to inspire us, because even us as older Sunday dads, we're still learning from young dads like yourself. It's never too late to pick up lessons, and thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, my friend. Thanks.